from Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi everybody, I'm Laura Harris-Smith and welcome to The Three. Today I have on my sofa a guest that never lets anybody interview her. She always does all the interviewing. She has so many shows on television. We've got the Pulse on the Bay, Council of Women, Faith Chicago, Significant Insights. She's on the executive committee for the National Religious Broadcasters Association and Convention, and she is the president and CEO of Total Living Network. Please welcome my friend, Debra Fraser.
Friend is the most important of those.
Friend is the most important. And you know, I've only known you, I guess, maybe 5 years now?
I think it has been 5 years. I think I remember that first moment, which we'll talk about. I can't honestly think of anything else yet until we talk about your shoes.
Oh.
I've got to. It's like I see Boss on the side of those.
I didn't really, it says Girl Boss or something somewhere.
Queen
Good
bee,
vibes,
I love them.
flawless. So there you go. I expect a sponsorship now, please. That would be awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have to say up front that I respect you so much. And so when I asked you for the interview, her answer kind of surprised me. She said, oh, I'm a little scared, but because I always ask the questions.
Right.
So it's interesting. We sort of collaborated on the show. I don't know what you're going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say. It's still going to be a guessing game. But we're going to swap some stories, and we're actually going to do a part 1 and a part 2. You have such a multifaceted life. I don't even know about the first part of your career. So the first topic we're going to cover is divine moments.
Yes.
Divine moments. So then we're going to just share a little bit each on maybe one that we have had. And it's important that you know them because they always interrupt you, don't they?
Yes.
Like they connect the dots.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Well,
So what about yours then?
Well, in terms of divine moments, those to me are raw, honest, and they're moments that you will never forget. And you know, one thing that I think of often when I'm thinking of those divine moments are, for instance, when Jesus said, "Let this cup pass from me." To me, that was the rawest moment of all time. To say to your Father, you know what, I do not want to go there,
Yes.
you know, I
Yes.
just can't do that.
Right.
But I will if you want me to. And those to me are divine moments. I had one when I was 12.
Okay.
And I promise I'm not going to go like forever, but I will start with 12. I was actually the doctors were checking me out. I was tired, lifeless, you know, I just wasn't doing well. And, you know, you would probably diagnose that today as depression. In fact, you would. But it went undiagnosed and we were trying to figure out what was wrong with me. But in a service, I felt that call, I felt that tingling, I felt that raw moment with the Lord, and I went forward. And from that point on, I didn't deal with that illness anymore. The Lord healed me from depression. Now, I did at 12 bargain with him a little bit. I said, I want to live for you. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Please don't make me, you know, maybe be a missionary or pastor's wife, but, you know, I'm telling you the truth. And maybe he thought I wasn't suited for either. There you go. But he has a plan for us.
He does have a plan for us.
And having even that raw moment of discussion with him at the altar, why not? He knows what you're thinking anyway. And so that was my moment, and my life changed.
I'm telling you something. This is pretty incredible because I had the same exact moment. I went to my mother. I was 10, and I said, "Mama, I'm so sad." And I'd never been sad. I'm not a sad person. I've always been bubbly and energetic. I was told I was having full conversations with people on the phone at 18 months old.
Oh my gosh.
And all of a sudden I was sad. She said, "Why are you sad?" So my mother grew up in dirt poor family on a working farm in South Georgia. And, you know, they had no doctors. I mean, you went to the back room of the pharmacy. So she did the responsible thing. She took me to a child psychologist. That's what she felt like would be the best for me. Yeah, and so they said, well, she's depressed. And so I was just about to go on the medication, and my stepfather is the one who got us back into church.
Okay.
My parents were Christians, they loved the Lord, but after the divorce, my mom was working full time. I was in daycare. My siblings were with my father. Maybe that's why I was sad. You know, it was just a difficult time. And my stepfather got us back in church. Well, I walked the aisle, exactly what you're describing, and I got saved in 1975. And my life changed forever. I never had to go on the medication. I know people who have had to. I know people, in fact, who, I know them, both sides have been on it and abused it, and those who went on it and looked at it not as a hammock, but as a trampoline. And they used it and got up out of the pit that they were in, and they got well.
Yes.
But my story was that I found Jesus and I was never sad again.
Right. And to me, those are divine moments.
Yeah,
you know, I can remember another divine moment, so I'll go a little bit further.
Okay.
In my 20s, I'm working for an attorney. By that time, I thought I was going to go into law. I was doing paralegal work, and I was really enjoying it, and the attorney was going to actually help with the career in that regard. But then it became a little difficult situation. I got engaged, and being completely transparent, I'm not sure that that was in, you know, his plan that I would be going that direction. And anyway, it got a little complicated. So I applied to another law firm, and actually I was hired in the first interview immediately. And so I was to start on a specific Monday morning, all right, in my 20s, Monday morning, and I was going to school at night. And I was just all weekend long struggled with it. I struggled with it. I would get, you know, just anxious, and I just felt like the Lord was working with me. I was like, Lord, I can't like go in on my first day and just like say I'm not coming to work. I mean, these people are counting on me, and I already left the other job. And when I left, the attorney said, you know, I had done a really good job. And so what happened was that Monday morning, the Lord just spoke to me so much, that raw moment. So I'm driving the car, headed to the law office. I walk inside that door. I sit down and I said, you're never going to understand this, but I can't work here. I need to go back to where I was, which they couldn't believe. But I really felt that was the line. Okay, so then what happened was my husband proposed to me, and a couple, I wouldn't have been able to get married had I gone to the other job. And so there's just that piece. That was another divine moment.
Okay, you didn't ask me a question. I just related to your story. Am I off the hook, or do you want to ask me a question?
I have a question for you.
Okay, well, why don't we save it till after the break, and then you can whisper it to me so I can get prepared. I'm just kidding. Okay, so come right back after the break. She's going to ask me a question.
I'm not going to let her get prepared.
Oh, okay. Be right back after the break. Stay close. Hi, I'm Laura Harris-Smith, inventor of Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend. You know, if you would have told me 2 years ago when I was mixing that very first little bottle that we would have thousands of customers from all over the world, and that we'd have to quadruple our staff to keep up with the demand produced by our international TV infomercial, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And if you told me I'd be hearing regular testimonies of improved sleep, reduced stress, migraine relief, even help with other neurological challenges like seizures, PTSD, tremors, muscle spasms, even anxiety, well, I probably would have cried. And sometimes, when I'm reading a Quiet Brain testimony, I do. But if you would have told me 1 year ago when we introduced our Quiet Brain Variety Gift Box that it would become the biggest selling item on our online store at quietbrainoil.com, I would have said, I believe it. The reason is because I created the gift box to be the perfect combination of all of our Quiet Brain products. The oil itself for topical use on the skin that contains only certified pure oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier and bring speedy relief and neurological support. And our aromatherapy line with our Quiet Brain shampoo and conditioner, candles, inhalers, all of which use the nasal passages to gain direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. So whether you need to use Quiet Brain topically or aromatherapeutically, the Quiet Brain gift box has everything that you need. And now we've given our gift box an upgrade without increasing the price. It now comes with our satin Quiet Brain Sleep Eye Mask. Just put a few drops of oil on the nose guard and you're on your way to enjoying a good night's sleep. And it all comes packaged in a beautiful gift box and delivered to the destination of your choice or sent to you so you can use it for 7 different gifts or keep a few for yourself. When sold separately, the items in the box are $160, but you're getting it for $135. That's a $25 savings, meaning that you're getting the nasal inhaler and the shampoo and conditioner for free. The Quiet Brain gift box comes with 1 Whisper Quiet Nightlight diffuser with 16 color options and intermittent mist options, 1 dropper bottle of Quiet Brain, 1 Quiet Brain nasal inhaler, 1 Quiet Brain candle, the satin sleep eye mask, and your healing shampoo and conditioner. And remember, both are color safe, aloe enriched, paraben and sulfate free, loaded with wonderful ingredients like unscented coconut oil, olive oil, sugar beet betaine, and of course the Quiet Brain blend with its 8 essential oils like lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more. We get repeated testimonies of both being used with great effectiveness during headaches for pain relief. So go to quietbrainoil.com to order. Quiet Brain is a great gift for any time of the year, but especially for seasons like these that bring additional stress. Give the gift of health and peace this year. Give the gift of Quiet Brain. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith. I'm on the 3 with host Debra Fraser.
That's right.
She's co-hosting with me tonight.
It's a true statement. I am a host, and this is very uncomfortable.
Come
so
on,
far,
we're
so
having
good.
fun.
Yeah.
We are spending time really just sharing about divine moments that we have both had. I want to share another one.
Oh,
okay,
please.
for me, this is probably the most divine moment of my life. So I want to take you back to, I was 17 years old, barely 17, and I'm a cry. And I'm just working in my little jean shop selling jeans. I wasn't even supposed to be working that night. I had traded with someone, and in walks this amazing young man. And he walks in and he says to me, well, first of all, he comes in with his brother. I load them down with clothes, send them to their dressing rooms. First, the brother comes out and he asks me if I want to go to dinner. And I waved this little ring I had on, you know, like it was a class ring. Remember, we would wind the yarn around them, and I was like, sorry, I'm taken. And so he goes back in his dressing room. Well, Chris comes out and he asks me, so can I take you to a movie sometime? Well, I'm all about movies, right? But still, I gave him the ringer. The ringer? That's the finger with the ring. I gave him the ringer. And he went back in his dressing room, and that was it. The guy came back for 5, almost 6 months, until one night he came in and the other guy had dumped me, and he asked me what he always asked me, when are we gonna go out? And this time I turned over his receipt and I wrote my phone number, which was my father's landline, okay? So that's all we had then. And he became my husband.
I was going to say, Chris is the name of your husband.
Chris is the name of my husband.
Deal.
If that's not a divine moment, I don't really know what is. And the amazing thing is, because I'd said no for so long, I like to consider myself a person of discernment. And, you know, I love the prophetic. There was my destiny standing right in front of me, and I almost missed it. I did miss it repeatedly. Well, interestingly enough, I didn't know because of the circumstances what day that was, and I'm big on dates. I mean, we make a big deal out of birthdays. I could never be one of those religions that doesn't celebrate birthdays, because I'm all about celebration. And so one day I was like, I gotta find out what that day is. So the reason he came into my jean shop was because he had been at college and it was student ID day, and he did not have on anything suitable. In fact, he had on a t-shirt from another college, and he was a little embarrassed. So he's like, hey, bro, let's get in the car, let's go get some clothes. So I said to him one day, and we've got like 5 kids by this point. I said, so I want
like
you.
waiting.
Oh, so it's decades. Like there's no way we're gonna find out, you know? But God. So I call Belmont University, it was then Belmont College, and said, hey, do you have anybody who can tell me da 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 da? And this is 1982. Well, no, they didn't have anything on computer then. They said, but we still have the same librarian that we had in 1982.
Oh my gosh.
I said, are you serious? Let me talk to her. So she took all of the details. She says, I'll call you back. She goes through all the annals of, everything with the records, and I don't know how she felt. She calls me back. She says, okay, I have a question to ask you. Did he have books with him or not? I said, what do you mean? She said, well, we had pictures on 2 different days. One on orientation when they would not have gotten their books, and one when they did have their books and they were just coming in for like makeups. And I said, I don't know, I'll be right back. And so I go to Chris, I said, okay, it's 1982. You're driving up in your Datsun B210 hatchback. Are there books in your,
to drive.
or not,
Great,
do you see books
year.
in your floorboard? He said there were books. So I called the lady back, and she goes back a little later and calls me back again, and she said, Laura, you met on Wednesday, August 25th, 1982. So I not only had a divine, a moment meeting him, but then God sent that woman who there's no way she's still with us. I mean, and probably her last act of Christian service was making me so happy, so we can celebrate it every year now on August 25th, and we do. It will be 40 years this year.
So that's like a divine
that was my
moment, and you celebrate it every year.
We do every year.
Cool.
We'll be going away this year.
That's a better example than mine, perhaps. I really like that.
No.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Now she's going to ask me her question.
I know. Now I feel comfortable and confident because I'm in this role. But divine appointments.
Okay.
Talk about a divine appointment.
All right.
I can think of one.
This is when?
I'm hoping you're going that direction.
Okay, I bet that I am. I was actually going to talk to you about this anyway, and it may take long. Yeah, and it may talk. Well, if I get it right, it may take longer than the time that we have, but I'm going to do the best that I can, and you'll have to just hear part B afterwards. So basically, it involves how I came to TLN. Is this what you were going to ask me?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know how much time do we have yet in this segment. Are we doing good? Okay, so I'm gonna start out with this. It was Sunday at church, and this would have been now 2016, I believe. An intercessor friend of mine named Donna Savolto, she said to me, Laura, I see a little door, and you're gonna walk through that little door, and then you're gonna find a big door. I said, okay, well, good. I'm all for that. NRB, National Religious Broadcaster Convention, happened just a couple of weeks later. We go through everything. Monday you set up, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday you're out there with your books and you're peddling everything you can and giving away and doing interviews. And then Friday I had nothing planned. People are breaking down. I wasn't going to go. And I'm in bed and I hear the Lord say, get up, get dressed up, and go down there. And I thought, it was snowing outside. I was like, Lord, I really don't want to get up, and I mean, he said, get dressed up. So I knew this involved pantyhose. So I get it all on.
And you really don't want to do it.
Now I'm really like, how am I going to trip in the snow?
Forget this.
And so I'll say this part and then I'll stop and we'll go to break. But Chris drives me down there and I'm thinking, where am I going? Where am I going? Oh, well, Ben Carson and Ted Cruz were speaking. So it's 2016. That's where I'm supposed to go. So I go running in. I mean, I'm literally running in, pulling my suitcase. It's a presidential election year, and so they had security and scanners.
Everywhere.
And they were closing up, and I was like, wait! The heel breaks off of my shoe. My brand new black
I never heard this.
Breaks off, totally breaks off. And they open the doors for me, scan my suitcase and all that. They open the doors for me, and there's 4,000, maybe 5,000 people in there.
That's pretty close.
And I counted 3 seats that I could see open. I walked in and one of them was sitting right next to Jerry Rose. Be right back after the break.
NeuroMattix Oil is a family of therapeutic-grade patented oil blends created by nutritionist and author Laura Harris Smith. Invented for her own lifelong journey for neurological health, Quiet Brain now helps those worldwide who suffer from insomnia, migraines, anxiety, seizures, tremors, and more. Quiet Brain contains oils like frankincense, myrrh, lavender, sandalwood, and others. Next, Happy Brain is a bright mood-lifting citrus blend and contains oils like lemon, lime, clementine, spearmint, and more. Users say it combats depression and even aids in weight loss. Next is Sharp Brain, Laura's Focus Blend, also used to improve cognitive memory issues with oils like coffee, cinnamon, vanilla, clove, and others. Each $69.95 bottle is a 10-week supply if used daily, or about $1 a day. And right now, buy 2 bottles and get the third one free and get a free eye mask using the promo code on your screen at NeuroMattixOil.com or at 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
I'm naturopathic Dr. Laura Harris-Smith, and if you'll give me 10 days, Give It to God and Go to Bed can help you stress less, sleep better, and dream more. There are even links inside to my free 10 Days to Deeper Sleep and Dreams program and 10 Goodnight videos. Can you close your eyes and just still listen to me? The whole book takes place in your bedroom, and with chapter titles like The Junk Under Your Bed, The Treasures in Your Bedroom, and The Monsters in Your Closet. Give It to God and Go to Bed helps you learn to rest and hear God speak in dreams. Take back your sleep and dreams, my friend, with Give It to God and Go to Bed. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura. Welcome back to the Two. I'm with Debra Fraser. She is the president and CEO of TLN, Total Living Network. And right before the break, I was telling my story about, well, we were talking about divine moments and then divine appointments. I was telling about the divine appointment I had when God told me in a snowstorm to get up and go somewhere.
And break your shoe.
And break my shoe. I'm running and I break the heel. And you know, when you break a heel like that, there's no recovering. And so I walk in, first of all, late, mind you. The door's open, everybody turns and looks like this, and here's the girl with the gimpy leg, you know, walking in. So I walk right up and I sit down by Jerry Rose. Now, by this point, Debra, you had interviewed me once. Shirley, his wife, had interviewed me once. And so I have a health book at the time, and I'm thinking, that's why God sent me. I'm going to get this into Dr. Ben Carson's hands, and he's going to make it famous, you know. And the guard walks by, and I said, any way I could get in with Ben Carson? No, there's no way. Sorry. He's on to the next presidential stop. I'm sitting there, why did you tell me to? Does it have something to do with Jerry Rose? So I'm over here Googling on my phone, you know, how many stations does TLN have?
It.
And so we got all done. I was locked and loaded, and he stood up to leave, and I said, Mr. Rose, I'm Laura Harris-Smith. You may not remember me. Your wife interviewed me and Debra Fraser. He's like, oh, yeah. He was nice. He pretended like he remembered who I was, you know. And he said, excuse me.
I'm sure he did. You are not easy to forget.
He meets so many people.
Let's face that.
Anyway, he begins to walk off, and I said, Mr. Rose, may I ask you a question? You have X amount of stations in X amount of cities. Don't you want the Bible Belt? I said, you know me as an author, but my wheelhouse is television, and I've been in television since I was 3 years old, and you need a show shot from Nashville, Tennessee, and I want a shot at it. And he just stopped, and he sat back down.
Yes.
30 minutes later, they're moving chairs out from around us. The place is emptied out, and he's asking me questions. He's learning all about what I'm doing and have been doing for decades, and he said, let's walk. So I gave my heel a good shove up into the heel of my foot. And you know, it's like a little city at Opryland Hotel. We had to walk probably the equivalent of 1.5 miles to get to where we were going. And he said, do you want to have coffee? And I'm thinking, I told my girls, don't ever have coffee with a man. Let's wait, we get there. Oh, it was all open to the,
right.
you know, don't,
yes,
I mean, so
yes.
to be alone with a man,
yes,
I'm just
right.
saying. And so we get there, and 3 hours later,
My gosh.
that man sat there and encouraged me, told me about his beginnings, the humble beginnings, and the ping pong table, and starting the ministry with things propped up here and there, and the first night on television. And he not only encouraged me, he would say things like, well, start a YouTube channel. I'd be like, done that. Everything he said, I had done. He said, I tell you what, send me 5 spots of like 5 minutes each. And I'm going to see how my viewers like you, and then we'll go from there. Well, I got home, I got busy, I got them all done, took about a month. I sent them in and I heard nothing. It was like crickets. And I asked my intercessor friend once again, I said, I think this is the small door. That coffee was the small door that's leading to something bigger, but he's not answering me. She said, well, who else do you know? Who else do you know that works there? I said, well, I could contact Debra Fraser. So I reached out to you. And the email I got back said something like, Jerry is no longer the CEO, but I am, and I remember you, and I'd love to see those spots. And you guys offered me the time slot.
Well, and let me also just add my piece of that
Okay.
on the back end, because he left. I mean, first of all, I don't remember him ever spending 3 hours with me and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to go with that and move on. But you know, I saw your vivaciousness when we interviewed you, your love for the Lord, and your faith in the whole thing. So when you sent those videos, we really wanted to help. And so our team decided to help, you know, encourage you to actually create the show. So I remember us being on the phone, and there was a lot of input on our end.
There was.
But because of that divine appointment and that divine moment. Had you not gotten out of bed that morning...
they say that that's 50% of it, or the statistic is, so it's just getting out of bed. And I did. I just got up out of bed and went and sat down somewhere, and God led me to that divine appointment.
And you had the tools. You had the tools. You had the family. You had individuals that could come around you, encourage you,
all
and
there.
develop the show. The Three is an amazing show. We love to carry it. We have carried it ever since
Yes,
your
you have,
very
2018.
first show.
Yeah.
And look at all the guests you've had on.
Yeah, I know.
Robert Jeffress was recent. And,
Yeah.
you know, I see you on others. I saw you on Bible Discovery.
Yeah, so as an author, because I've written 26 books, I've been on plenty of other sets. But as we started talking, we started daydreaming. Now I'm on my set, I get through with my show, and I'm taking secret videos, and I'm bringing my husband and saying, hey, how can we build that? How can we do this? How can we do that? And so you provided the on-ramp. And I cannot say thank you enough. TLM was the very first home of the Three, and I cannot say thank you enough.
I say thank you.
Oh.
I can't say thank you enough, because there needs to be more women who discover that divine moment and appointment and then move on it, react, because that leads to divine direction and feeding into the lives of others. Look at, you'll never know how many folks you have fed into the lives of because you did that. So.
And you know, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. We are now 120 something shows in the can, and the pandemic upended everything because we had, oh my goodness, it took like lower 6 digits to do that whole production with a cast or crew cast of 42, and all the help that went into it. And we would get a whole season knocked out in 1 week, is why we did it that way and why it cost so much. Well, then NRB happened. It wasn't that particular one. It was a little bit later, but and we wound up with all the people coming to us. I thought, let's put the cameras up. And so we did that, and as we did those interviews, I thought, it's not the live studio audience. I missed that. It doesn't look quite as good. I was a little discouraged. And then the pandemic happened. Literally that next week, the first case was found in Nashville, and suddenly I had the best looking thing on television. Nobody could get together. Nobody could film anything.
Right.
So I really am happy that it not only worked out, but even in seasons when we couldn't get in the studio, the Lord has provided in such a beautiful way. You mentioned a word.
I did.
Divine direction.
Yep.
And so I know you're going to stick around. Can we talk about that later?
I would
Because you
love
can't
to.
do the other two unless you have divine direction.
I would love it.
All right. Well, everybody, another great episode of The Three. I hope you'll join us right here next week, same place, same time. We'll be back with Debra Fraser. Bye-bye, everybody.